I mean, the students really love him. They have a little pet name for him. I think they call him Papa Stew Stew. Papa Stew Stew.
Well, you know, my grandkids have been calling me that for quite some time, really, and somehow or other it caught on amongst the students, and there are a few that like to use that from time to time, particular students. It's a grandfather thing, that's all.
We don't call him that. You know, he doesn't like the faculty to call him that, but he prefers we call him Stallion.
Gosh, I can remember, as quite a youngster, sitting on the floor in my bedroom with a drawer and a dresser open that had music in it, sheet music, and somehow or other just leafing through piece after piece and singing through them. And I couldn't have been very old at all, just old enough to read, and how I read music then I don't know, but I can recall that memory, you know, and there are lots of them after that, of course. Well, you know, when I first came here, I was involved with the theater program a bit because there had been some frictions between those two departments, as are, you know, relatively common, as you know, and it seemed like a good thing to be helpful in that regard. So for about 6 or 7 years, I served as musical director, worked with the likes of John Tommy and his old compatriot Don Finn on a variety of musicals, both in the summer theater and during the year.
Well, the first thing I think of are those early days when he first came here and we nabbed him to work with us on our musicals, and especially in the summer theater. Those were sort of pioneering days for the summer theater, and even though Stuart prefers, and he'll say this, he prefers Schubert and Schumann and the art songs and so forth, he gave his all when he was musical director for us in the summer. We roped him into being in Man of La Mancha, and that tenor voice, which is necessary for that particular one song in that musical, and Stuart performed, and he was surrounded by a great cast, and he held his own. It was great. And I remember those days fondly because we were doing pioneering work, and we were young. We still are, but we were younger and somewhat foolish, I suppose. But and I think we did good work. But what I really remember is that we had a lot of fun.
You know, he's lived a very, and continues to live a wonderful life, very full, rich life, and he's very able to offer up information on whatever you're talking about, and he's happy to offer up that information. And we often joke with him, say, "Stuart, what haven't you done?" You know, because we could talk about so many things, and he says, "That reminds me of when I was," you know, when.
I think he has a knack for participating in a conversation without leading it or forcing it. He doesn't force it. I think Stuart is diplomatic, and I think that's probably where he has been very effective as a chair, and as someone who has fostered good relationships, I suppose.
Well, he's been very supportive. He's a very nurturing guy, and he's been very, very supportive with regard to me in the jazz area, but I know with everybody, he's always willing to help everyone, especially the last number of years while he's been chair for the second time. I mean, he was chair for a number of years, I think 10 years before I got here, and then he's been chair the last 4 years, and just been doing a superb job. So he's been integral in a lot of the advancements that the department has been making.
And so one of the reasons I came here was that, you know, the department is a really wonderful size for a liberal arts college department, and much is possible, as we all know. And it was that appeal that brought me here.
The breadth of the department, I think, has expanded, and I think he's been integral in that happening. He's been very, very important in that happening because of his nature of wanting all the people who work there to succeed in what they do.
You know, it's kind of interesting because the first time around, as someone mentioned, I was an untenured faculty person, and it was, I think, toward the end of the first year I was here that I said I would do this, and I did it for 11 years straight at that point, and it was much more difficult then. I was younger, I knew less, I didn't know what I was getting into, you know. But you know, this second round of 4 years has really been quite satisfying in many ways. It's been very worthwhile, and I think we've accomplished I think I've accomplished a lot more in the last 4 than in the first 11, certainly.
It's always been fun to see the students when he'd walk by and they'd start chatting with him. You know, he'd be talking about Guillaume de Machaut and then start talking about Thelonious Monk, and the students are like, "Whoa, I didn't know he was that versed." And he's a wonderful individual to have conversations with and to just hang out with. And he's the best cook I've ever been around. So whenever Stuart says, "Hey, come on over to the house for some food, man," my wife and I, we just drop everything. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You go to his house to eat.
One of the things we talk about is wine. I would be a little concerned if I were responsible for providing the wine at a dinner with Stuart in attendance. Not that he's a snob. I think he's a bit of a snob about this, but I think he has high tastes. So, yeah, he loves good food and good wine. And I respect him for it.
Cooking, I guess that came about partly because as a child, my dad died when I was fairly young. My mother had to go to work. I was the eldest of 2. And the cooking for the family kind of fell to me at an early age, since I had the time after getting home from school. And so I sort of naturally took to that, and I've always sort of enjoyed it. It's become a little more gourmet-like in recent years, and that's something I look forward to be able to do more of, But Brian certainly loves to eat, and he loves to cook, and his best thing, of course, is chili.
This is a quote from a play that I was in when I was a student, and I've never forgotten it. A character says, "An artist's temperament is his curse as well as his gift." And it comes to mind with regard to Stuart Sharp, because I think he has found a really happy balance between those 2 aspects of an artist's personality. The gift and the curse, straddling the middle and coming out a winner.
Stuart's a terrific guy, and we're really going to miss him. I'm glad he's going to be doing some part-time things, because he really is a terrific force in the department, and he brings a wonderful energy to the department.
He said he might stay on the New York program as well.
Yeah, so I think he's going to be around, which will be good, because I need to keep eating at his house.
There's this whole ethical sense of, what do you do with your life? Do you do something that seems perhaps frivolous? You have to realize the intensity of it, the strength of it, the dignity of it, the seriousness of the aesthetic pursuit at some point, and then you make your decision and you can feel good about it. But I guess I was perhaps overly serious in that regard, but our kids are like that still today. They come in not knowing quite what they want to do, and they shy away from this, they shy away from that, and they finally put it together. I guess I was no different. I think we're lucky when we can end up doing what we set out to do from the very beginning, and I've just been lucky in that regard. I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do, and I've done this, for this is 41 years now, and I'm grateful. I've had a great run at it, and I don't want to stop, and hence a little voice teaching for the last few years will be a very nice way to exit, gently and easily, and still contributing in a good way, I hope.